Hey VC, how you doing today? It's Travis. The sun came out today. It's in the 40s. It still does not smell like spring yet, so it's not quite there. It's not officially yet nice out because we're supposed to have rain all weekend. So even though it's fairly nice out, the sun was out for a little bit. Now it's in the clouds again, and it's going to rain all weekend. But I'll take it. It's at least it's above freezing, so that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to show you a couple things today, but I actually wanted to talk about what music do you have, whether it's CD, cassette, whatever, that either they don't make on vinyl, or if they do, it's just ridiculously expensive. And the reason I brought this up is because lately, I'm in the process of right now redoing my music room, painting the walls, putting carpet in there. I got some shelves coming to set up. And so my records are just in boxes all over, stacked all over, and I got to dig through to find it. And I also have boxes of CDs that I started going through because they're going to be put in there as well. And something I've realized as going through all of my CDs is that so many of them, the case, the little tabs are broken. They're just not in great condition this way. And the other thing I don't like is, in order to find what you're looking for, you have to sit there and do this until you find what you want based on what the little spine you can read there. So what I decided I'm going to do, since I like how I can explore my vinyl just by flipping through it, I'm going to do the same thing. You notice there's no CD or cover in that. I've taken all the CDs out of all the ones that I had up in these boxes, and I'm going to put them into little sleeves like this. Okay. And then I can just flip through and find what I want, just like going through my albums. And all it is little protective sleeves. It's got a flap on it, CD in the back. The only thing I put in there is the front cover piece, or if there's like an insert that goes with it that has lyric sheets, a little book or whatever, like this one has a little book with it, and that goes in there too. I don't take the back. The back stays in there, and then I don't get rid of these. They're in a box, and if I ever need to get the whole case together, I'll find the one I need, put it back in there, and ready to go. And then some of those that are broken up and cracked or whatever, then I'll just replace those if I need to. But these take up so much room. I don't want to have a whole floor-to-ceiling bookshelf of CDs that I have to. I don't like it. So this way, and let me show you. So here's just a few of them that I've gone through. So, and it won't be in this. It'll be in different boxes. But basically, so look at this. See how much easier that is? And you can just flip through, find what you want. This will hold 100 CDs right there. I actually have some other boxes that are made perfectly to go 2 deep in the Calyx shelves and the cubes. And each one of those boxes is going to hold about 250 CDs and has a cover on. And these actually will fit right in there side by side, and there's a divider in them. So anyway, since I was doing that, I was going through all my CDs, and then I happened across some that I actually haven't had out for a while, because I have a handful of CDs out that I listen to, but I've moved around a few times, and they're basically, a lot of them were in boxes. And so I was looking for a particular CD, and I happened to run across all these. I was like, oh, I haven't listened to that in a while, and I grabbed it and pulled it out. Oh, that one too, and that one too. Next thing I know, I decided to go through this whole thing. Which brings me to my topic today. There's a couple of CDs that are just my all-time favorites. I looked on Discogs, and it's just like, either most of these, they don't have a vinyl issue, or they're very limited, and the ones that I can find are just super expensive. And it seems like for some reason they're all overseas. Or in the UK or somewhere over in Europe. But I did manage to find some of them. And I actually have one of them on the way this week. So, and that one is which this time of year, this is one of my favorite albums to put on. Sunroof open, subwoofers up, radios down, driving on a nice day, jamming out to this. I found the album, the vinyl, and it's actually on purple wax, and it is coming. It'll be here this week, and that is, of course, Social Distortion. This is one of my all-time favorite groups. This is probably it's in the top 20. I don't know if it's in the top 10, but it's definitely in the top 20. And it's one of my go-to ones all the time. I'm sure everyone's heard of that. The next one, the one I was actually looking for, is a group where I grew up in the great frozen tundra of North Dakota. This is a group that made their splash in Minneapolis music scene up there. Really liked them, so I've seen them several times in concert. I have their CDs. This, to me, is the perfect music for sitting on a porch, drinking a beer, and just hanging out with friends, chatting, and just letting this play. It's not music that it just got a nice. There's just certain music that's just good to sit and visit to, or just hang out and just watch the world go by, and that's one. That, and this is definitely in my top 10 of all times. Daddies, Billy's Live Bait. Or you can even go the earlier one, Let's Go Scare Al, same group. They only have 3 albums, so if you get these 2, you pretty much have them all, because I think the third one is like compilation song albums. Billy's Live Bait, though, if you've never heard this, you go check it out. I'll make some links of all these groups under below, so if you've never heard of them, go check them out. Most of them you probably have. There's nothing obscure here, but this one a lot of people haven't, and I'm not really sure why. It's very popular. If you've ever been to a hockey game, I'm pretty sure you've heard this group before, because their one most famous song, which is not even listed on this album, it was made as a joke, and it was a hidden track on here, is I Want to Drive the Zamboni. So I'll put the link in here, you can go listen to it. And if you listen to that song, you get a vibe for how this group is. But I looked on Discogs for this to find out what the chances of finding it on vinyl. They do have it on there, and there is some printings, but it is very expensive. Like $150, $125, and I have no idea what they even sound like. More than likely, it's just, mastered from CD files or whatever, and it probably sounds exactly the same as this. But it's one of those that I'd like to have. This would be considered one of my grails to get. I'd be so disappointed if I got it and it sounds terrible compared to this. But anyway, I have several copies of this because I've gone through so many of them. But if you've never listened to them, give them a spin. You might like it. I do. This is my perfect sitting on the porch with a beer, summer, nice evening, just watching things go by, and just hanging out, chilling. Their early album, same thing. This is another good one. It's the same type of music. They're kind of like they're classified as folk rock, Americana, a little bit of country. I mean, they have a steel guitar with them, so they get a little bit of country vibe. But it's not really like anything else. So, but it's pretty good. Definitely worth checking out if you've never listened to them before. Click on the links down below and see if you like them. Yeah, they're pretty good. Another one that I really like, and they don't make anything on vinyl at all. You can actually get cassette tapes and CDs, but and that is Dan Baird, love songs for the hearing impaired. I mean, this is a great album. This is another. It's kind of like bluesy, southern rock type. You know, this just gives you. That tells you all you need to know about that. I mean, it's like, it's great. I mean, I love his music. This is another good one. If you've never listened to him before, check it out down below. He's actually in several different groups, and there's quite a few different albums that he's on. This is the one that I listen to a lot, and this is the only one of his I had. This is like, what is it, 95? 92. 92 is when this came out. Good stuff. As a matter of fact, all of these are all like early 90s, late 80s, early 90s CDs. So, just you know, just going through all these CDs. These are just ones that I was like, man, that was such a good time. There's so many good bands out in the late 80s into the early 90s, mid 90s. That was actually a time where, after I graduated, I went to college for a while and said, I don't really want to do this. I don't know what I want to do. So I decided to go into the Navy. And I just so happened to be out in the Pacific Northwest, the Seattle Puget Sound area for the whole early 90s into the mid 90s. Hey, that was the great time to be in Seattle. So many good bands that we saw out there. But I just grabbed a handful of groups of ones that I listened to quite a bit. Just really had such good memories of, and just great music. And I mean, I could show hundreds of them. I grab a couple of them. A lot of these, I'm pretty sure you all know. If not, check them out below and just see what you think. It's just a little bit of mix of early 90s type stuff here. Oh, Better Than Ezra. Deluxe. The Deluxe album. It's got In the Blood, Good, Southern Girl, The Killer Inside. I'm sure you know those songs. Great one. Another one I like. Another band I liked. This was listened to a lot when I was out there. Material Issue. Destination Universe. That's great stuff. What Girls Want, When I Get This Way Over, Next Big Thing, Who Needs Love, Destination You. And, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite groups. We saw them several times in concert. The Soup Dragons. Hotwired. Check it out. We'll put a couple songs down there below, and you can listen to it. This is another great band. It kind of goes along with the Dan Baird. You know, there's some of these groups that I consider just port sitting. You know, hanging out with my brothers, drinking a beer, and then listening to this music in the background. Another one of those would be The Alarm. That's that Change album. Really good stuff. Goes right along with that. And then I've seen these several times. Kansas City here. Camper Van Beethoven. That's a good group. I don't listen to this for quite a while. There's a couple of their albums. I wonder if this was the one. Like I said, I'll put links down below where you can go kind of get a sampling of what these are like and see if you like them or not. If you run across one of these on Discogs that's below $100, shoot me a message or whatever and let me know about it. It's like, I cannot pay $145 for that. That's just crazy. I mean, I don't know if I could pay over $100 for any record, but just a few sampling of, I was just going through some CDs of good times back in the early 90s, and unfortunately so many of these, I mean, there's so many good albums that were from that time that they just didn't put them on vinyl. I mean, the vinyl was done. It was going out, and it's like they weren't messing with it. Bulky. It just, you know, it takes up space and room and shipping and heavy, and you know, it just, they're done with it. That compact disc was a new thing. You can have all that same music on something this size and you can take with you. Luckily this group made some albums. They must not have made very many because there's very few out there that are available. But then again, you got like Social Distortion. This one right here. They were about the same time frame. When is it? That was 92. You know, the Gear Daddies, Billy's Live Bait was in 1990. I mean, it was only 2 years later. But you can find this all over the place for like $10 on purple wax or even black wax. So, you know, I guess some of the labels decided it was worth it, and then some not. But you know, this is a small time band too. You know, they weren't really known outside of the region, other than when the I Want to Drive the Zamboni. That song showed up in a couple movies. I think it was in Mighty Ducks, and what's the one in Alaska where it was the hockey team that was playing out? Something Alaska. But in that hockey movie, that song was in there too, and that's the song that got them popular. So if you heard it, you probably know. If you ever been to a hockey game when they got the Zamboni cleaning up in there, they usually have that song going, and that's these guys right here. So, and if you like that song, you'll like this group because that gives you the vibe of how all their music is. Anyway, I was just going through and I thought, oh, I just want to share a little bit of the music I had in the 90s, wishing it was on vinyl. It's not. Hopefully they'll start re-releasing some of the stuff. So many good CDs that I completely forgot I had some of these, and it's like I started digging them out. I was like, I haven't even listened to any vinyl this week. But as soon as this one comes in, that's going on. And it's going to be nice. So the windows are going open. That's cranking up. My neighbors are going to be yelling at me, but I don't care. Alright, talk to you later. Have a good week. Bye.